We live in a world that is constantly distracted with noise, TV, bars, and a bunch of other stuff. Well, how do you heal from that? Well, one of the most powerful powers that a human can have is their intuition. And it's really powerful and is actually really unknown in today's world because when you ask someone what are the senses that a human has, they will name the five common senses but leave out the most powerful one, which is intuition. So if you want to find out what intuition is, how it relates to healing, spirituality, what is energy, and all of that woo-woo stuff, it's not really woo-woo. But if you want to know more about it, watch the podcast right now. Do it. So let's start with the very simple question.
Yes.
What is intuition?
What is intuition? That is a good question. I would say intuition is our ability to perceive the messages of the version of ourselves that can align with the reality that we want to create. Because it's easy to be able to see like many different types of realities, especially in people. And we might be right about being able to see like certain negative qualities about certain people in our life experience. But I think what matters more is to be able to still perceive those negative qualities and at the same time see the potential of them overcoming those negative qualities or becoming more wise, more loving, and more powerful from their challenges.
Right.
Not just despite them.
It's kind of like your higher self, right? The higher self intuition is the same thing.
Yeah, because the higher self can see all the potential timelines of a person's experience. And so they're able to also like perceive the timelines that serve the greatest good of the individual as well. Mm-hmm. So
okay, yeah. So now a lot of times you have the intuition, but you also have a different voice that doesn't want you to follow the intuition, right? Like you have this intuition that you should be on camera, you should be doing stuff like this, but sometimes you're like, nah, I don't want to do it. You're shy away. So how do you know if you're listening to your intuition or your ego mind or the voice that doesn't want you to follow your higher self?
I think one of the ways that you can know is checking in with your body and checking in with your heart, especially. So things you want to look for are a feeling of safety and nervous system regulation in your body. You want to look for appreciation. You want to look for ease and flow, which relates to the safety and appreciation. And then the other aspect is excitement, passion, playfulness.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lady called Carolyn Myers. I don't know if you know her on YouTube. She has this beautiful quote about intuition. I am going to butcher this. People think that intuition is like comforting, but it's not comforting. It's going to actually push you outside of your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
I think that is, that's a really good question because intuition is not necessarily meant to push you out of your comfort zone if your intuition is guiding you to take a break from a lot of work that you're doing.
Right.
And taking a break means going to your comfort zone that ideally is a healthy comfort zone as well. Mm-hmm. So when it relates to your intuition guiding you to go outside your comfort zone, that I think can be true as long as it's something that is in the direction of what feels like a fuck yes to you. Feels like it excites you, you're ready for it, and you know that it's something that's going to benefit you in the long run, not just the short term.
And what happens when you don't follow your intuition?
Your intuition in relation to going outside your comfort zone?
Just like in general, you just like, there's a voice telling you to do something, but you just ignore it.
What happens when you don't? Yeah. I would say what happens is that you can feel a drain in your energy because then you start to get out of alignment with your own sense of, you could call it integrity. You could also call it like your sense of wholeness, of all of these different parts of you being in harmony with each other. If you don't do what you say you're going to do, or if you don't do what your intuition says you should do, or is inviting you to, then that creates a dissonance in the field, and then that won't manifest itself in an experience that will, you could say, test you again to see if like you can align your energy. And usually that will be in an experience that most people would perceive as negative.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I have noticed that, like, a lot of times I feel intuitively that, especially when I started this whole journey, that should be outside on camera, not be shy. But there was a voice that was resisting it. And once I'm like, okay, let me just try it out. Let me listen to my intuition. And when I did that, doors just started to open. They were like, I'm like, I really want this professor to be in my YouTube video. I'm like, oh, just send the email. 2 minutes later, I get a response saying yes. I'm like, I didn't know it was going to be that easy. So sometimes, like, if you just act on it, like, doors just open up. That's what you mean by alignment, right?
Yes. Yeah. Because like in alignment a lot of the times relates to how courage, it relates to the quote that love and fortune favor the brave. And so if you know that love and fortune are on the other side of your comfort zone, in other words, are on the other side of the fear that is in front of you, then yeah, you know that you're going in the right direction. It's like, it goes along with the quote that by Joseph Campbell, that the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. And so, yeah, it's about.
But there's so many caves
direction.
that I have. How do I know which one to pick?
Okay, that's a good question. Okay, so it depends on like what challenges you're going through in your life, and what area of life you want to focus on the most. And that can create a lot of clarity in terms of what cave to choose.
Right.
So out of the 4 areas of life, health, wealth, relationships, and spiritual evolution or sense of purpose, you could say, which area would you like to focus on the most right now?
I would say spirituality.
Spirituality, okay.
Yeah.
And what's your main challenge in relation to like moving forward with your spiritual evolution?
My main challenge, I'm always trying to get somewhere, like get a reward. Like, I'm like, if I meditate, I'll be calm, and if I'll be calm, I'll get better ideas. If I get better ideas, I'll make better projects, and like it's almost the opposite of what spirituality is, right? It's just being in the moment.
Yeah.
I guess that would be my biggest challenge.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So it's like, it seems like you're feeling like some stress in relation to like the reward system and. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Because like what you're ultimately looking for is the sense of fulfillment, which is like the reward. Besides the nervous system regulation, like you were saying, like more fulfillment in general, and like being able to relax and feeling like you're on the right track, right?
Right.
Okay.
Nice.
So what's like the fear behind that?
Like, if I don't do something, I'm like, I'm stuck. Like, this is it. This is my existence.
Oh, okay.
And then I have a vision. I'm like, okay, I want to do this, but then I'm like going 100 miles per hour at there to escape my current reality. So it's almost escapism masking as spirituality.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, we have the opposite problem then. Because like you go full steam ahead, and that's really, really good because you're taking a lot of action, and at the same time you're wondering if you're taking the right action, and sometimes it seems like you're experiencing that you don't take the right actions or that feel aligned for you. And it seems like you're also realizing that if you like allow yourself to pause and into a state of nervous system regulation, then you'll have more clarity as to like where to go and how to go about it.
Right. So you said you had the opposite problem?
Yeah, mine is like I have a lot of clarity, but the action is not always like present.
Okay. Yeah, is it not present, or is it like, you should be doing it and then you're like, I'll do it later, or is it just like, I just don't know what to do?
Well, like I focus on what I love a lot of the time. One of my favorite things to do right now is to read this specific fantasy novel that feels really deeply meaningful to my soul. And like while that is a type of taking action in the right direction, it's like it feels like different parts of me are prioritizing that because of how much like positive shifts I get, and even like in terms of spiritual evolution, it really is helping me, which is really great. But it's like getting in the way of other important things that I want to do. So it's like a lack of discipline and on my end in relation to that.
Interesting. Okay, I want to switch tracks a little bit. So we both mentioned spirituality, but we didn't say religion.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me, spirituality versus religion. What are your thoughts?
I think that religion is for people who are afraid of going to hell, and spirituality is for people who have already been there.
Oh, that's a bar right there.
That's a bar. That's actually a quote that I heard on Instagram. I don't know who sent that, but I was like, when I saw that, I was like, that's a bar. That makes so much sense because religion, it is about a system from outside imposing rules on an individual that doesn't necessarily serve their greatest good. And oftentimes the religion uses fear, guilt, and shame to control the actions of individuals.
Right.
And so fear of going to hell is one of the main ones. And so that's why I would say, yeah, like religion is for people who are afraid of that. And then spirituality is for people who have been to hell and they're like, oh, I've faced like a hell 10 times worse than what you fear, religious people. So I'm actually good and I don't really need religion because like I've been able to empower myself to overcome the challenges of the depths of different types of hells that I've been through. And that's why people who are spiritual in that kind of way like don't need religion at all, and also don't really judge it at all either. It's more like it comes from a place of compassion more than like mocking, which at first, yes, like in the beginning of a lot of people's spiritual awakening, people will mock religion and be like, oh my gosh, those guys are brainwashed, those people are brainwashed, and it's like fuck religions, you know, like we don't need religion, that's like so bad for the soul. And I think, yeah, religion can be really negative to people on an individual level, but it can also be really healthy as long as the individual focuses on the positive qualities and also like allows themselves to follow the rules of their religion in alignment with what their spirit is guiding them and how their spirit is guiding them to do that.
Right.
When, like, for example, a person is infused with enough of the Holy Spirit in terms of Christianity, then they are likely to feel intrinsic motivation to help other people, help themselves, and be selfless in healthy ways. So anyway.
That's interesting. So you said spirituality is for people that have been to hell and back. That brings me to a thought where like a lot of the most spiritual people that I know have had the most tremendous amount of suffering put upon them. As like you read some of these great people and you're looking at their life, it's like full of suffering. What is the tie between spirituality and suffering?
So I would say that like there was this mathematician actually that went to study Buddhism and he came up with an equation for the difference between suffering and pain. He said that like, or enduring, I don't know. It's like, he said that suffering equals pain times resistance. So if you have like 100 level pain, but your resistance is 0, then your suffering is 0.
Yeah.
But if you're at 100 level pain and you have 1 unit of resistance, then your suffering is 100. On and on and on. So if your resistance is 2, then you're at 200 suffering.
Yeah, it's one of the thoughts that came to me when I was going through something a little bit earlier this year is suffering is like a purification process. Like it's trying to purify you. So when you have any type of suffering, I try to reframe as it's trying to purify me of the thing that's no longer needed. And that frame, even though it still hurts, whatever suffering, but it's like, okay, things are just going out that I don't
Yeah.
need.
Well, you might notice that as you say that, you're resisting it less because you're having a more objective perspective on the pain, rather than like, this can't be happening. Like, I'm gonna, like, why is this always happening to me? And then like creating the victim mentality is really like the best archetype to suffer the worst.
Yeah, yeah.
In the worst ways. It's like the victim mentality is the best mentality for going into deeper and darker levels of hell, which can be useful if you know how to transmute effectively.
Right.
Then you can like see the value in people who play the victim in their life, because if you can transmute anything, then you can pretend to be a victim and allow yourself to go deeper and deeper levels of hell, so that you can like transform more of that, alchemize more of that, and transform it into beauty. As like the Buddhists love to say, the lotus blossoms most beautifully from the deepest and darkest mud. In other words, it's going to blossom beautifully no matter what, but the deeper and darker the mud is, the more beautiful it will be.
Right. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. And I will try to make an analogy of exactly what he's saying. So if you guys know the basketball player Kobe or Michael Jordan, even the smallest amount of insults that they would get from the opponent team, they would magnetize that so much and use that as fuel or motivation.
Yeah.
Kind of like, oh, you're going to call me this? Then I'm going to double, triple my efforts. So I think that's what you mean, right? Like alchemize
Yeah, it
all
relates
that.
to that for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
They probably ask themselves this question, which is, why are the negative things that they're saying helping me become more powerful and motivated and skillful? Right?
Right.
Like, why are the negative things that they're saying like inspiring me to become the best version of myself, to play my best in this game today?
Yeah.
And by asking themselves those questions and coming up with at least 3 reasons for each of those questions, what starts to happen is that reality starts to anchor itself to the point where it becomes a belief, because they'll be like, why? Oh, the reason why the negative things they're saying is helping me become more powerful is because I know how to alchemize emotions into skill, into like more power within my skill, more clarity, more lucidity. I know how to alchemize. It's because I am such a pro at this alchemization, but I'm also a pro at basketball at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
So like all of those different beliefs create that reality for them, because it's not just coming from the mental place, it's also coming from an emotional place.
yeah.
And so this relates to why the word why is one of the most powerful and dangerous words in the English language, according to conversational hypnosis experts, or experts in hypnosis in general. It's because of how it presupposes the reality that a person is creating whenever they ask that question. For example, if a person is asking themselves why like negative things are happening to them, or why, you know, why they are so foolish in certain ways, they are presupposing that is already true.
Yeah.
And then they're coming up, their subconscious is looking for reasons why that is, and then it's anchoring that reality into
Yeah.
this existence even more.
Yeah. This reminded me of a funny thing in like 5th grade class. Kids will come up and be like, "Does your mom know you're dumb?" So like it's like the question includes the fact that you're dumb, and
Yeah.
that's what you're saying about why. Like, why is this happening? Why do bad things happen to you? Well, in that statement is the presupposition that thing is bad.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's what you mean, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it's presupposing that it's already real.
Yeah.
And then when the subconscious mind finds the answers, it makes it even more real, which is what is dangerous about it.
Right. So the subconscious mind, you're saying, could come up with fake answers?
Yeah. But the most powerful answers are the ones that are most emotionally resonant. So even if they're emotionally resonant in a negative way, then of course that will cause like really, really negative things in that person's reality internally and also externally, because the beliefs that are in the deepest levels of the subconscious are anchored most powerfully through intense emotions and intense and resonant emotions. So that's why the best thing to do is to anchor intense and resonant emotions that are positive and empowering and loving. And the most powerful way to do that, from what I've seen, is to do it by asking the why questions in empowering ways. Like, why are these challenges helping me become more wise? Why are these challenges helping me become more loving towards myself, towards other people? Why are these challenges helping me become more empowered, like I said?
So it seems like you're using this cycle of asking whys to go from thought to emotion. Could
And
you
vice versa.
and vice versa? Maybe this isn't that a good question, but what's more important, thought or emotion?
Emotion,
Emotion.
in sense, I mean, like, what thought does is it can help direct the flow of emotion, and it can like guide the emotions. So it's kind of hard to say which one's more important, but in general I would say emotions are more powerful because of how they're the foundation of what's underneath the surface of our mode, like our way of being in the world. The types of actions we take and why we take those actions all correspond to like the subconscious and unconscious levels of our beingness.
Yeah, that is so true. Like if you think about your life, some of the best, worst moments, they're not intellectual moments. Like March 13th, I got a ticket. It's not like that. It's more like this thing made me angry or this thing made me super happy. So it's like life is an emotional arc rather than an intellectual arc.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I think there's a profound similarity between stories and music.
Say more.
So the reason why there's a profound similarity between them is because of how there's an arc to the different like phases of the story or of the music, between like seconds and between sets of seconds, like so like between minutes, between hours, whatever it is. There's like cycles, and also with music there's like the up and down cycle of frequency and vibration, and stories also have that too. And it's just that with stories, I mean, it's still emotional, but the story is guiding the emotions in such a way where like the character will, they might start by like being in a very positive experience in the beginning of the story, and then very soon they'll experience a really negative thing that takes them down low into really negative emotions, and so then they have to climb their way up, and so like that is an emotional process as well, and then they peak into the peak of victory, and then they go down again, and it's like different types of flow of how that emotional structure happens within the arcs of a story.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
But a lot of like spaces in healing, there's a huge emphasis not only on the intellectual side, but just body, like breath work, nervous system regulation. What do you think about that? Like, it's just, there's not just one way to get to the healing. It's just like, there's so many modalities, like thoughts on one side, but then you could completely forget about thought and just do breath work. And that could release a lot of your emotions, like right then and there.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say for sure the breath work definitely relates to stories and music and emotions, of course, because the arc is in how the breath goes in and out, of course, but then what's even more powerful is connecting specific emotions to the inhale, and then slightly different emotions to the exhale, and then creating different types of arcs with that. So you can imagine breathing in different colors, but in this case, you intuitively allow your intuition to guide you to which colors to inhale and exhale, and then you can create like very powerful states with breath work. Because
Yeah.
most people teach it like, oh, breathe in for 10 seconds, or breathe out for, or breathe in for 5 seconds, hold for 5 seconds, breathe out for 5 seconds, hold, etc. Like there's like timing involved, which isn't not a bad thing, but that's like a very core foundation that I think whatever levels of mastery are ideal for that, I would recommend people get to those levels of mastery. And then after that, layer in, or even like while you're practicing that, layer in like breathing in specific emotions corresponding to colors that resonate with you in relation to those emotions, and then breathing out in a similar way with like colors that resonate with you in that breathing out, and allowing the colors to change. And so then you can like learn how to essentially be able to use your breath to travel into daydreaming states and do different kinds of things with your breath. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Interesting.
So,
That is crazy.
Mhm.
My experience with breath work was somatic breath work, and it's like one of the most intense experiences I've ever had.
yeah.
This one moment in particular, it was we inhale, exhale really fast, and there's something called tetaning where you,
Oh yeah, Tetany.
that happens. But then there's a part where you get to have an emotional release, which is crying, whatever way you see fit. And for me, as a quiet guy for most of my life, it was just yelling. I was like the loudest guy in the room.
Nice.
And at the end of that session, I felt like something was just lifted off of me that was inexplainable.
Wow.
So a lot of this spaces is like sounds woo woo, but it's because it's like beyond the intellectual realm. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like an experience that you can't put into words. Like suddenly all this weight was just gone just because I yelled it. I just
Yeah.
you know. I don't know. Is
That's
that
awesome.
Is that a thing in healing? Like you just release.
Yeah, a lot of healing is about release, but I think that what's even better. I'm gonna turn this camera back on. Releasing is important, but what's even better is to learn how to alchemize and integrate what is alchemized. And what I mean by that is, in a lot of different healing modalities, they teach like removing negative energies from the body and then throwing them away. And the way I see that is that it's a missed opportunity for what could have been done with that negative energy. Because negative energy in stories, when the character goes through an arc where they go through hell in their experience, that's one of the best things for the story, because it's the ascent back up to greater levels of empowerment that they never experienced before. That is what engages us as individuals and what resonates with us to see like people, the underdog win, right? And so in relation to healing, we can create that experience for ourselves by taking the negative energy that we release into a space in front of us, for example, and then allowing ourselves to see the beauty in it and why it's art. That we can allow our intuition, our divine self, our higher self, to see why this timeline of negative emotions and negative experiences related to those negative emotions are helping us become, like I said again, more loving, more wise, and more powerful.
Right.
So it's like, why is it helping us ascend back into like
What-
levels of empowerment we never experienced?
Yeah, but there's like not everyone could ascend once they go down that pit of hell, right? So what differentiates people that do versus people that don't? I mean, everyone has the power too. but,
Yes.
what is that? This.
I think it can be a lack of awareness that it's even possible. It can be limiting beliefs that get in the way of empowering beliefs, if they do have empowering beliefs and know that like if they've overcome really challenging things, they can do it again. But if there's limiting beliefs that are strong enough, that come from fear, guilt, and shame from their past or trauma, then that can also prevent them from ascending. And I think there's a few other things, but like it's really circumstantial.
Yeah.
But that's like the core essence, I think, of what's going on in different complex ways. traumas related to each other, how trauma support each other, and
This
which
is
are the
a
demons, you could say.
yeah, yeah.
But,
One of my favorite things is anger, because I don't know if you know the emotional frequency chart. I'm sure you've
oh
seen it.
yeah, and the power versus force.
Yeah, exactly. Shame's at the bottom, love, enlightenment's at the top.
Yeah.
And my observation was that if you live in shame and all that, the first thing you should do is get angry. Like, because on the way to enlightenment, anger's in the middle.
Yeah.
But it also has this, the anger is like a beautiful emotion, because you're like, I'm in control, like I could do something, that you need that force.
Yes.
So like, healing requires you to be angry sometimes.
Yes, I would agree. Yeah, shame is in that chart the most disempowering emotion and the lowest frequency emotion in power versus force, and it's the opposite of feeling empowered in a lot of ways, like
Yeah.
truly empowered in an authentic way, because shame is seeing one's identity as inherently wrong
Yeah.
and feeling like perceived in that kind of way by other people in such a way that it like cripples the soul. It's like a soul eating emotion.
Yeah, yeah. It's like an inward eating, like you want to like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. It's like inward eating. But anger is like one of the first emotions where it's like projected outwards.
Yeah.
I mean, not in the best way possible, but you need to go from the inner to outer,
Yeah.
that journey. But
And there are healthy ways, because anger can also be destructive. So it's important to know how to allow anger to flow in a healthy quantity. And then if you really want to expand the anger to really high levels, for example, into like wrath, then it is important, I think, to make sure that the thoughts are flowing in a healthy direction, because otherwise it can be destructive to oneself or others.
yeah. And the way that I like to, for me personally, channel my anger productively is through creativity, creative flow.
Yeah.
What's the role of creativity, creative flow, artistic, endeavors in healing?
I would say the role of creativity in healing is actually very intertwined in a lot of ways, and it goes back to what I was saying about how about alchemy actually. And there's this practice in psychology that's somewhat obscure but not really, like they call it art therapy, where the kids are encouraged, or the patients, clients are encouraged to color their emotions in the shapes and the size that that they perceive it as. And so then of course like they're gonna be like dark negative colors. They could also be bright colors, but they could be like looking yucky in their perspective. And so then from there, what the person can do is like get into a positive state of appreciation, and then start to surround that specific part with appreciation, colors of appreciation and love. And so then their whole perception of those negative emotions starts to change on deep subconscious levels when they do that.
Really?
And that's what art therapy helps with. And this is actually what musicians who are healers and are conscious practice, and it's also what I teach as
Really?
well. Yeah, it goes along with the idea of alchemy that I was telling you about. It's about perceiving how and why the negative or challenging experiences are helping you become more empowered and wise and loving.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
There's like two universes, the outer and the inner.
yeah,
It's fascinating. In a way, like people, especially me, think like I need to be in this outer universe, but challenging or going inwards is the harder universe to be in, if you know what I mean. What do you think?
yeah. In a lot of ways, I think that relates to people feeling a resistance to being alone. And what's interesting about that is that like it's fear of the different parts within oneself. And then also it's related to how we are always alone in essentially like, at a deep fundamental level. We are born alone, technically, and will die alone. Sure, there might be other people, but it's like you can always count that you will be there
Yeah.
for yourself in any experience.
Yeah.
So why not like be your biggest supporter, most efficient and effective supporter as well, in terms of creating results that that type of support does for yourself, and that way you can learn how to be that support for others as well.
Right. Interesting.
Mhm.
I know you like Carl Jung, a lot of the famous psychologists. So if you had to like kind of vaguely chart out the mind into different components, what would that look like for you?
Ooh, okay. So I would chart it out as a tree. Um, and the reason why is because it creates multidimensionality. Um, so from a vertical perspective, the tree and the symbol of the tree corresponds to the quote by Carl Jung that for a tree to grow its leaves up to heaven, it must first grow its roots down into hell.
Love that quote.
Yeah. And so he says all that, and he's like, or I mean, what I would think about it is that like, what about the trunk though? What is the function of the trunk? And so after contemplating it a bit, I realized that what I think the trunk can represent is that like the thickness of the trunk can represent the quantity and quality of self-love that the tree has for itself. Because whenever a person has a large quantity and quality of self-love for themselves, no matter what kind of emotional storm someone is like projecting towards them, they're going to be very grounded, and like sure their leaves might be like experience the wind of the hurricane, but like they're not going to be phased by it. It's pretty much impossible to move that thick of a pillar of a person, even like even a nanometer almost.
Right.
Like it actually goes along with this quote that I really love. It's one of my favorites. It's that the gravity of the battle means nothing to those at peace. The gravity of the battle means nothing to those at peace.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, so that quote makes me think of this image of a very chill and peaceful Zen monk meditating in the hell that's 100 times worse and more terrible and horrifying than you can even imagine. So yeah, as peaceful Zen monk, just meditating in super crazy levels of hell, and they have like this fear of a peaceful light around them, and there might be like demons trying to get to them from all sides, but then they kind of bounce off because they just have a peaceful smile on their face.
Yeah.
And that's the level of self mastery that I love to align myself with as an ideal, and also to share with people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is that those demons sometimes are your own thoughts.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
It's not something on the outside. It's just you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kundalini. Have you had any experience with that?
Yes, actually, I had a mushroom experience one time with Kundalini, and I was able to experience the 3 levels, like I was saying, which corresponds to the tree. So I entered a state of profound clarity and lucidity and wisdom and intelligence that I couldn't even have imagined was possible. And while that was happening in the psychedelic experience, it was almost like I was sober, but you know how there's a lucidity to being sober relative to being drunk or high on drugs?
Mm-hmm.
So you can say like that sobriety, or the lucidity of that sobriety, was multiplied by like 100. And that's what it created, like a sense of profound clarity that is very difficult to describe with words. Not only that, but I also felt my heart was really, really open. And not only that, but I felt so powerful. So powerful and deadly and lethal. It felt like I was a demon that could not only scare people, but it could also like, yeah, really kill someone very easily.
Yeah.
And at the same time, my heart was really open. So I really like wanted the best for myself, the greatest good for myself and for other people. So it was a state of profound self-empowerment that I also think resonates with the quote of like, the gravity of the battle means nothing to those at peace. If you know that you're that powerful, that you can basically do anything, especially in a magical sense, and nothing can truly like fuck with you, then yeah, you're definitely in a profound state of peace, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I really struggled with that because I used to, and I still do. It's like, this is me and this is power. And I'm powerful, self-empowerment, self-love, whatever you want to call it. I have to get there. It's almost a journey that I have to get to. Once you make it a journey, that's the destination I have to get to there. You're automatically creating that distance.
Yeah, yeah, and it does create a distance. And what the good thing is though is that the distance in your own mind can also be made longer and shorter depending on what you want to do. So you can intend for the distance to be greater, and then when you intend for it to be closer, what you start to do is you have control of you start to realize how much control you have of your perception of that distance, which gives you more mastery over your perception of it as well.
Right, right. And I think the final stage of that is that there is no distance. You are that.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's like many traditions have like the same way of saying the same thing. In the Hindu tradition, it's like that thou are, you are.
You were mentioning about
Yes.
the distance. No, not the distance. Something after that. What was it?
Yeah, I was saying a lot of religious traditions have the same way. They say the same thing in different ways. So in the Hindu tradition, it's called Tattvamasi, which means that thou art, which you are what you seek. I'm sure there's like a Christian version of that, Muslim, every version of that. It's fascinating. Like we were going for something, but that thing is already here.
Yes.
But you don't want to accept that because you're like, no, it's out there. I want to get there.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting, I think a really good question to ask is whenever you notice or remember experiences in which you were able to successfully embody a specific identity that already has, for example, right now, what you used to be looking for. What is it that allows you to feel into why you are embodied in this empowered experience of already having what you were looking for in this moment?
Could you say that?
Oh,
again?
sorry, yeah. So you know how you have accomplished XYZ goals right now in your reality. Like for example, in your case, it's probably financial from having a really good job, and you've achieved a lot of financial goals. Whereas before, that's what you were seeking to create.
Right.
Oh, it overheated. It's okay. That one overheated, but we'll be fine.
Okay. Mine shut down.
Which one?
Mine shut down as well.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
So both of our cameras are overheating, but this was a fun discussion with Edgar, and he
really
does
great.
everything that we said in this podcast, like helps clients. But I'll give the floor to you.
yeah, so I love to help people understand what their inherent superpowers are, how to create a relationship. How to create a relationship with those superpowers that deeply resonate with them, and then help them manifest their ideal life in all areas of their life. So health, wealth, relationships, spiritual evolution, how to shift their identity in a seamless and also fun way that allows them to naturally and automatically embody that identity more and more every single day, so that it becomes not only super fulfilling to do that, but also super fun to be able to step into the version of yourself that already has the amount of wealth that you're looking for, that already has the type of romantic relationship that you're looking for, that already has the sense of fulfillment and empowerment that you're looking for, and also the level of health, the supreme health, ideally. I think we should all aim for supreme health, not just foundational. So
Yeah. He's
That's,
making healing fun and cool as it should be.
Yeah.
Healing's not a boring, depressive process. It's a fun process.
exactly,
There you
yeah,
go.
it should be fun. And if it's not fun, that's okay. Because
Sometimes you just gotta accept it.
sometimes you can just gotta accept it. And actually, a really powerful way to make it fun is like, why is this experience of challenges helping me make it more fun? Like, why is it helping me remember to make it more fun and empowering me to find reasons how to make it more fun?
There you go.
So,
He's the expert.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, man.